Hello and welcome to Latin American Victory, a video blog and channel about Latin America and Latinos in the U.S. and alternate history. What is today Latin America was once many native nations. Spain, Portugal, France, England, the Dutch, and the Danish invaded. They carried out one genocide after another, enslaving both natives and Africans. After independence, most new governments were still white-dominated, with more genocides against natives in nations like Argentina, Brazil, and Chile. European powers hold on to some territories even today, and kept invading to take their colonies back. The United States invaded too, overthrowing or trying to overthrow over 60 governments. The last attempt in the year 2020 in Venezuela. The U.S. took half of Mexico's land and a tenth of its people, and then Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. There's a long history of many Americans fearing and hating Latinos. Latin America's image, and to an extent a reality, is often one of instability, poverty, drug cartels, revolutions, corruption, and refugees. But it did not have to be this way. Latin America could remain all or mostly native nations. I spoke about this in detail in the previous series, What If Natives Won? Poverty, white domination, and foreign invasions could have been stopped, prevented, or limited. The U.S. could have been more Latino culturally, with higher numbers of Latinos. The U.S. could have been less racist, less dominating, or the U.S. could be defeated. Some Latin American nations could even become regional or world powers. There's a huge lack of alternate history about Latin America and Latinos. So much alternate history is Europe-centered, mostly because so much history and history teaching is Europe-centered. This series is dedicated to scenarios, points of departure, and possibilities of Latin American victory within Latin America and also a more Latino or less racist American society. My name is Al Carroll. I'm Associate Professor of History at Northern Virginia Community College. I teach American, American Indian, and Latin American history. Before that, I was a Fulbright Scholar in Indonesia, teaching the history of tribal peoples and other minorities. Before that, I taught at San Antonio College and St. Philip's College. Before that, I taught at Arizona State in the graduate program when I got my PhD. Before that, I got my master's at Purdue. I've written mostly about wars, veterans, human rights, and genocide. My first book was Medicine Bags and Dog Tags, American Indian Veteran Traditions from Colonial Times to the Iraq War. My second book was editing a collection of family histories from my students. Survivors, Family Histories of Surviving War, Colonialism, and Genocide. My third book was Presidents' Body Counts, a look at the human rights records of American presidents. I also wrote an online blog, A Proposed New Constitution. I'm probably best known as one of the founders of the human rights group, New Age Frauds, Plastic Shamans, or NAPS, that for more than 20 years has been protecting native traditions against imposters, exploiters, theft, abuse, and commercialization. My next history book will be Genocide Denial in America, about the 7 genocides against indigenous people that took place in the U.S. that most people were never taught about, don't know, or deny. I've also written some science fiction, mostly alternate history. One story, Timely Saviors, appeared in a short story collection, The Witness Paradox. I'm also, together with Rob Schmidt of Bluecorn Comics, editing and putting out a short story, alternate history collection, What If Natives Won? I've also written a sci-fi alternate history book, The Man in Black, the first of a series. These are the films, series, and topics we will be talking about in future videos. What if Spaniards colonized the Pacific Northwest? What if Mayas drive out Spaniards? What if natives drive Spaniards from Peru? What if New Granada is independent sooner? What if Louisiana Territory is part of Mexico? What if Bolivar unites Gran Colombia? What if Father Hidalgo wins? What if Argentina had an Incan emperor? What if Brazil is many nations? What if Mexico stays an empire? What if Central America stays one nation? What if Americans in Texas are defeated? What if the U.S.-Mexico War is avoided? What if the U.S. annexes all of Mexico and its people? What if there is the U.S. state of Pico, which is Mexican majority? What if the Mapuche defeat Chile and Argentina? What if the Confederacy invades Latin America and is defeated? What if the U.S. tries to annex the Dominican Republic? What if Cuba is independent sooner? What if the U.S. gives up control of Cuba and Puerto Rico? What if Mexicans declare South Texas independent? What if Woodrow Wilson stops the Mexican Revolution? What if there is no matanza in El Salvador? What if there were no American mass deportations of Mexicans in the 1930s and 1950s? What if Franklin Roosevelt invades Brazil? What if there is no Cold War in Latin America? What if Fidel Castro went into baseball? What if military socialism in Peru continues? What if Allende wins in Chile? What if Argentina defeats the British in the Falklands War? What if Hugo Chavez stays in power? What if Evo Morales stays in power? Who could have been the first Latino U.S. president? We'll talk about these and more in the coming future videos. I look forward to your comments and questions, and we'll ask them as soon as I can. Thank you. This is the end of the first video. I look forward to your comments and questions, and we'll answer them as soon as I can. Please repost freely, like, and share. This has been Latin American Victory, video blog and channel.